like they're not gonna opt for a warm-up just starting immediately. We're going to honor that. We're gonna go straight into this match. MALYSZEWSKI and Nico are seeds 3 and 4 respectively. Let's get started.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good matchup. Not gonna be as fast as the previous one, but I think it's gonna be as volatile because both of these players, they're very like when the actual point slips away from them, their recovery is sometimes lacking. I find, especially with Neko. Like in my set versus Neko, a couple of times I looked over and it looked like he was just putting pieces down randomly with how messed up his board was. So whether he had some kind of mechanical issue or something, there's definitely a mechanical thing where if he makes a misdrop, he can just explode and lose the point very quickly. So we'll have to see if that
Neko's definitely got a bit of a reputation for being an unstable player.
Yeah.
When it comes to MALYSZEWSKI, I haven't watched him play prior to this tournament, but I've been keeping an eye.
He's good. He's impressive. He's impressive.
Honestly, very surprised to see what MALYSZEWSKI is able to pull out.
This is
I feel like, from what I've gathered watching, MALYSZEWSKI lacks a lot of T-spin vision. I feel like MALYSZEWSKI misses a lot of obvious attacks, and instead relies a lot on just clean and down stacking and playing it safe. But not in a way where it's like a slow defensive gameplay, in a very active way. You know?
Yeah,
like
in a way
fast Korean IFDSers, you know?
It's a safe playstyle, but that's not a bad thing in this game, because the safer you play, the longer you survive, and you give more chance for your opponent to make some crazy blunder, like Neko.
I see Neko there.
He got cheesed up. Yeah, Neko got over 200 JPM.
Simply got too cheesed up and couldn't do anything about it, really.
Neko is really good at just sending those crazy spikes that you can't do much about. But look, right now he's made a misdrop, so I have to see how well he can recover. See, look, again, he's just made another one and just made a speed point over. Yeah, see, that's a classic Neko explosion all over the board. One misdrop turns into 2, turns into 3, turns into a complete disaster. So hopefully we don't see too many of those, because it'd be nice if the set was competitive. But he did, his right arrow key broke during our set, so we'll have to keep that in mind. He might be playing on a different bind, which is going to introduce some difficulty perhaps. He had a good round there. Oh no, it's still going on. MALYSZEWSKI. He was.
Yeah, Neko had that little incident with the bind earlier. We had to pause the game for.
Yeah.
Unsure if they were able to adapt in the meantime.
Matt, if you had to bind your right arrow key to a different key mid-set, would you find that easy, or would it cause a problem? Because for some players, they can just back.
Personally, I feel like it would cause a bit of a different feeling, but I don't think it would be too much. Like, there's way more you're thinking in this set.
Sure.
Than the feeling of your bind. It definitely feels different, just because with the arrow keys, if you're playing on arrow keys, there's a lot of space around those keys. Like, you don't really have any other keys right next to it. But if you're playing on something like, I don't know, like IJKL, for example, you have all these keys around it. You know, that definitely changes the feel a little bit.
100%. Actually, I find that the longer you play for, and the longer you play with certain binds, then when you change them, it's definitely trickier to adapt to that, because the muscle memory is so ingrained. Like, if I change my binds now, it'll take me quite a long time.
Yeah, but you're not really changing the shape of your binds. Like, your fingers are still like doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, true. But even so,
it's really more of like just an odd feeling that's like an itch, you know? It's not really like a...
Yeah, I suppose once you go. This setup by Neko is so
Oh, MALYSZEWSKI.
very great.
The PC loop. I feel like MALYSZEWSKI missed a bunch of 2 lines there, but I'm not sure if that was intended or not.
Maybe he's wary of giving Neko a lot of clean when he saw him do those setups. Because one thing, when a player's doing an advanced opener and you send him clean, you can just receive a billion lines and get obliterated. So it's something to be mindful of. But, oh, that was beautiful downstairs by Neko. So MALYSZEWSKI, we'll have to see how his play develops through the set, because I'm not super well read on this player, but some players, as the set goes long, their play can deteriorate. So we'll have to see if he can keep up this level, because he's playing very well. And he plays very safe, but that safe play style, it takes a lot of calculation, because you always have to calculate where to safely place the blocks, and in a long set, that calculating ability can
your mind
diminish.
can just fatigue up.
Exactly.
The vision deteriorates.
You end up thinking you're playing safe, but really you're putting a piece in an unsafe place. And I'm guilty of this a lot. I try and play super safe, but I notice that when I'm playing a long time, while I think I'm being safe, I'm actually putting a piece against stupid positions. And I'll have to see if that happens to MALYSZEWSKI at all.
What is Nico doing over there? Is that a setup or a misdrop? Never know with this guy.
But he had some tricky cheese there, and especially when you do setups like that, you've got to be so mindful of the fact that if you're doing some complicated setup and then you get a bit of cheese, because you're so far above the garbage line, you can just lose almost instantly afterwards. That's why a player like MALYSZEWSKI, who plays very safe, he's gonna love to see Neko go.
Huge spike coming in from Nico.
Yeah.
MALYSZEWSKI doesn't really have the bullets to defend against this at all. No way. Nico just absolutely blasts him into space.
That was a nice point by Neko. If MALYSZEWSKI, obviously he's winning the set, so he doesn't really need to change his playstyle a little bit. If he was to start losing, one thing he could do is, as we said in the previous set, start focusing on cheese, because Neko, he's such a, like Dormy, he does a lot of spins, so if he gets a bit of cheese, especially with his propensity to misdrop and then just go crazy and lose the point, I would really be trying to get as much cheese on Neko's board as possible.
Nico's living the life. Is bro gonna survive?
Yeah.
MALYSZEWSKI with the misdrop, he should be able to clean it up, but nothing to skim with after the S spin. Alright, Nico with the funny. Mechanical. Alright.
Oh, is Neko gonna try and kick Karen back to back?
Oh, the fractal, but they can't. Oh, can they? Can they? No, there's nothing they can do.
So greedy, just to. There are certain moments I find with top players where they want to continue back to back so much they will put a piece down to set up the back to back, but they will make a dependency, but they won't care.
Oh, the spike from Nico.
Yeah, that was nice. And if that piece
MALYSZEWSKI is living this, almost lives this.
Neko has very good
effort from MALYSZEWSKI to try and survive these spikes. TST into double Tetras.
This is crunch time now. This is crunch time for both players. MALYSZEWSKI, that opener was good, but what I fear is he's going to give Neko so much clean, and then unless MALYSZEWSKI plays really carefully straight after that, he's just going to get destroyed by a tidal wave of garbage. Oh no, that's a nice
good down stack.
Nice. Is MALYSZEWSKI going to try and get some back to back going?
This is Nico. Look at Nico. This is Nico right here with his inability to like quickly escape a cheesy situation.
Exactly. It's because he's always thinking of setups. He's always thinking of T-spins. When you're near the top of the board and you don't switch into okay, now I've got a down stack, then you can just
these players mechanically they play similarly, but like Nico is extremely greedy with the vision, whereas MALYSZEWSKI is like not at all. You know.
Exactly.
They're very polar opposite when it comes to the kinds of decisions they make.
Yeah. MALYSZEWSKI, he'll always.
But MALYSZEWSKI, if you look at this right now, MALYSZEWSKI absolutely still has the ability to pump out some APM when necessary.
That was a nice ice spin by Neko. You don't see too many of those.
Oh, the spike. And look at all that cheese on Nico's side because of the way that he...
Neko's got to just get down here. If he starts doing any
But that happened just because of Neko canceling the garbage in a weird way. MALYSZEWSKI did not actually send cheese.
Neko, he made the right decision
to get out of it, but now he's gonna have trouble finding the T-spin. Gonna rush down, and now there's a clean stack. Miss drop coming in from Nico. Very quick and elegant cleanup. MALYSZEWSKI running for his life. Reaches the bottom of the board very quickly. Nice counter forward from MALYSZEWSKI. Tetris donation.
The thing I noticed about Neko is that he sends T-spins all the time, and there are some situations where actually, especially if your opponent's in a safe position, you might want to choose not to send a T-spin if it means you can send some cheese, because sending a T-spin is not always the correct decision, especially when your opponent is a safe player who might be low down on their board or building up their own safe stack. But I find Neko, even near the top of the board, if he has a T-spin, he will do the T-spin, and it can lead to some situations where you're just feeding your opponent clean garbage without really being aware of what you're doing, and if you make a misdrop like he's just done, and your opponent's in a safe position, you can lose, as Neko did without again, look, he's near the top and he's just doing T-spins. Okay, he has found a very nice downstairs, but again, okay, so what happened there is Neko really banked on that killing MALYSZEWSKI, and if it didn't kill MALYSZEWSKI, Neko was in real trouble, but the spike did kill him, so you can't really fault his play, but it's always choosing to do the T-spin on the top of the board, and it's a very risky play start. Sometimes you actually, even if you have a T-spin, you shouldn't do it, because you were just giving your opponent clean and you've got some cheese to get
These players
through.
evening it out. MALYSZEWSKI keeping a tiny lead throughout the whole set. Just a tiny 1 to 2 to maybe 3 point lead,
We'll have to see if Neko starts playing faster. He has the subs. He loves the subs. Oh, that's beautiful.
This is Nico's moment to reach top 3. After having lost so many grand finals.
Made top 3.
No, Nico's lost grand finals like 4 times.
No, I meant MALYSZEWSKI. Would that be as hard?
For MALYSZEWSKI, this is MALYSZEWSKI's debut appearance on ETM.
Oh, he's never played one. Oh, well, okay.
He's never played on ETM before. No.
That'd be decent.
Miss drop from MALYSZEWSKI. Nico looking like he can capitalize on that easily, and he does.
Super aggressive by Neko.
What's happening? MALYSZEWSKI just breaking down completely.
5 PPS. Yeah, Neko. What Neko's doing is thinking, if I just play 1 PPS faster, MALYSZEWSKI might crumble under the pressure, and it's looking like that's working. But now Neko's in trouble.
And now this is all or nothing for these players.
Neko's playing so quickly.
From now on, it's not a first 11, it's first to 2 difference.
Oh, MALYSZEWSKI was beautiful. Look at this spike, There we go.
Okay, MALYSZEWSKI takes the point lead. Neko's gonna have to pull out.
Do you think Neko's gonna do some advanced?
He's gonna have to pull out a hell of a win streak now if he wants to stay in the tournament. Both of these players want it badly. MALYSZEWSKI wants to see how far he can get in his debut performance. Neko wants to break the curse.
DPC.
Neko playing it blitz so quickly, doesn't get that 1 PC. Still keeping 4.8. Look at that speed. Unable to find that J placement. The play breaks down entirely, and Neko, it doesn't look like he's going to be able to recover this. Tries his best with the opener gaming, but unfortunately doesn't make it work.
MALYSZEWSKI, that was impressive.
And Neko goes out with the 4th place finish.